Game 2, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, number 4 Duke at number 14 North Carolina inside the Austin River Center. You can watch it on ESPN. Duke minus 5.5.
As the crow flies, GP.
It's that time. It's that time. Dan, show me you don't let me down. I want to hear it.
Dan, we better get it. We better get it. We better get it on the broadcast here. Let's see if I can get I'm actually at asthecrowflies.info. Okay. I'm bringing it up right now. Chapel Hill. All right. As the crow flies. I don't want 8 miles. Shulman. 8.84 miles as the crow flies from Durham south to Chapel Hill. You know what to do. 8.84 miles as the crow flies. 14.22 kilometers if you're curious.
I gave it to Austin Rivers because the clip, the highlight came across my timeline some way this week. I was just,
that's good. That's good. You got a little variety from the fistfights and murders. I like that.
Man, I watched a wild fistfight yesterday. It was a principal and a high school student. The principal had just had enough. He was like, you know what? If this is the way my career is going to end, this is the way my career is going to end. But I got to fight this guy. It was wild. It was a wild situation. Yeah. So in between all that, a basketball video miraculously appeared on my phone. It was wild. I was like, what is this stupid thing? Get me back to a Norm Macdonald video. I'm trying to watch basketball. Give me a Norm Macdonald joke. So that was an all-timer. I happened to be in the building. Austin Rivers flipped
I actually don't remember you being at this game. You were at the game?
I remember being at the game.
Okay.
But
there's a chance I may remember this more accurately than you do, but I will take your word for it.
I mean, I could have dreamed it, but I believe I was at the game, and I didn't take the time to look it up, but I remember thinking, oh, wow, that just happened. It was one of those, oh, wow, that just happened. The game is over, and that team won because of that dude making that shot, and this place is quiet. So we'll see if Duke can do another one of those this weekend inside the Austin River Center.
Yeah, we've got a real legit challenge, allegedly, here for Duke. 21-1, only loss of the season by 1 against Texas Tech at the Garden the week of Christmas. Duke has been just strolling and rolling and steamrolling competition in the league. Can it finally find a close game? I don't think it's got one. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it has more than one game decided by single digits in league play. No, it has 2. That's true. SMU actually kept it within. Well, that would make sense. That was when I was away in Vermont that weekend. The SMU 7-point loss in Durham, and then Florida State kept it within striking distance. Back at the turn of January, Duke is number 3 overall in defensive efficiency, top 5 in offensive efficiency. Cool subplot to this game. Shouts to our Cameron Salerno, had a story on this, and Fink provided some additional scouting stuff. You can read this at cbsports.com. This is the first time since the late 1980s that Duke and Carolina have met. And when they meet, each team is going to have a player that is reasonably projected to be in the top 5 of the forthcoming NBA draft. You've got Boozer on one side and then Caleb Wilson on the other. Now, part of this is out the strange but true fact that UNC just hasn't had a top 5 pick in decades at this point. But when it comes to both sides actually squaring off in this epic rivalry, you got to go back to Danny Ferry for Duke and J.R. Reed for Carolina. J.R. Reed wound up going 5th that year. Ferry was taken number 2 overall. Those were obviously not one and done players. So you get that, which is pretty cool. There was a close one where Kobe White and Cameron Johnson were playing for Carolina back in 19 that I think is a pretty fair one. But if you're talking about top end prospects, which Wilson and Boozer obviously are, you've got that there.
And one of the
Carolina, go ahead.
I'm just going to, and that led to one of the great draft night moments when Kobe White is being interviewed and finds out that Cam Johnson was just selected higher than what most people expected. Go find that in your free time. It'll make you smile.
Yeah, that was good stuff. we don't need to wax nostalgic on Duke Carolina. Everyone understands that. But for the purposes of the game and the matchup and what it means in the context of this season, here's UNC at 18-4. It's 6-3 in the league and can really, you want to talk about a seed line bump? Here you go. In your building. There's also Duke's coming to town. There's been a ton of, fraught discussion over the future of where North Carolina will eventually, I think 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, play its home games. Will be in a renovated Dean Dome. Will they take it a little bit off campus and have something that's a little smaller, much more modern? There's a real fight for UNC's alumni. I only bring that up to say, here comes Duke amid what's been a pretty buzzy topic over the past month plus in that area. That building will be ready to go. It's going to be a very, very fun one. I do hope we get a real close one. Duke has had its way with Carolina more often than not in recent seasons here. You said the line is 6?
5.5 is what I had.
Okay, so we have an out-and-out line, not a KenPom projection right now.
Yeah, for whatever reason, we had lines on all these games last night.
Okay, love to see it. Give me Carolina to cover. I'm going to try and talk this into existence here, and we'll see what transpires over the weekend. It's such a busy sports weekend as is, but I almost wonder, Caleb Wilson's reputation is very good right now, but I'm talking kind of a broader sense. If Carolina can win this game,
yes.
And Wilson can show up, if Carolina wins and Wilson puts up 24, 12, 6 and 2 in this spot, he just in terms of his prominence in the sport and the general sports audience and culture, he will bump up a notch. He's got to do it. They got to win. But I do think few individual players stand to gain more this weekend than what Caleb Wilson could theoretically do. That being said, he's more. That's just UNC is so much more than Caleb Wilson. Obviously, they've got some really, really good players. They've done a really nice job this season. I'll take Duke to win narrowly, but I like Carolina to cover. I think they really show up and they play well, and Duke finally gets to find itself in a real push in a tight moment late.
It's a good point about Caleb Wilson. He's awesome. We've talked about him, but he does not get thrown into that conversation of the elite freshman.
Parrish, I think he was there the first couple of weeks, and then he's been consistently good, but hasn't had a performance that's gone there. So now I think he can come back. I felt in the first few weeks of the season he was maybe there, but
perhaps. I guess maybe I'm just using this as the gauge, and maybe this is an improper gauge, but this is a true thing I'm about to tell you. You do a random radio interview over here, a random podcast over there, radio hit over here, and they start asking you about this freshman class. Hey, so we're reading that this is maybe the best freshman class ever. So let me ask you about AJ DeBont. You get a DeBonta question every time. You get a Darren Peterson question every time. You usually get a Cameron Boozer question. I don't remember anybody ever asking me about Caleb Wilson. In that way, he hasn't penetrated that conversation, but you're exactly right. This is a massive stage. He goes big against Duke inside the Dean Dome. Yeah, this is that type of opportunity. Not that he needs it to be confirmed incredible. He's an All-American and lottery pick. That's done, or at least it feels close to done.
Yeah.
But if you want to do the other stuff, this is a big stage for that. Carolina Duke is massive almost always, regardless of the circumstances. I do feel like this is bigger because half of this league's better than the Big East, but half of this league is outside of the top 55 of the net. And
it's definitely way better than it was a year ago. Not that you're saying it wasn't, but just context, it has jumped up. It's still not a top 3 league,
right,
but it's in a much better situation than it was a season ago. Duke, Clemson, Carolina, State, Virginia, Louisville. I think you'll get at least one other team into the tournament. It's better overall. Continue making your point. But as you say that, I was just thinking out loud here. At least we're not in this spot this year with this game in this conference as we were a year ago.
This is one of those deals where I will say a bunch of words and then people will just pick the words that they want and draw a conclusion from it. And it's no, that's not what I said. I didn't say the ACC stinks. I said it doesn't give them as many opportunities, as many consistent challenges as, say, the Big 12 gives a Houston or an Arizona, or a Big 10 gives an Illinois or a Michigan State. The league is better. I don't think it's great, but it is better.
Yeah.
And so there aren't many opportunities for Duke and Carolina in this league to play teams like each other. So that makes Saturday night more interesting perhaps than it otherwise would be. I'll take the points at home. I think Duke wins the game. I want to be clear about that. I think Duke wins the game. I think Duke's the better team. But I'll take, in a rivalry like this, I'll take the 5.5 points at home and see if we can get a close one that comes down to the final minute.